Hi, today I'm going to paint a little scene with some sand dunes. So I thought I'd take some inspiration by the great Turner himself and use one of my reference photos to create this little scene. So I've done my sketch and it's very loose as usual, just basic shapes blocked in. So I'll start with a light wash of raw sienna for the clouds. I don't want the white clouds to be completely white, I want some warmth in there, so I'm going to paint the cloud shapes with that really light raw sienna, and I'm doing that onto dry paper. I want the sky to have quite a bit of dominance in this particular composition, so that's why I opted for painting it onto dry paper rather than wetting the paper and making it a really soft sky. So I want those clouds to stand out and also have some hard edges in there. I've mixed some cerulean blue with a tiny bit of cobalt blue. Ignore the big well of cobalt at the bottom there, that was way too strong, so I opted for a bit of cerulean blue in the middle well. And now I'm just going to negatively paint around those clouds. And then with a clean brush, just lift up some of the blue where it has a risk of turning a bit greenish when it mixes with the raw sienna. Now I'm mixing a grey for the cloud shadows, or the bottom parts of the clouds. And I struggle a bit with it, and I decided to keep this in the video. So I'm trying to push it into more of a blue-grey, and even though I've picked up a little bit of that purple and mixed it with my cerulean blue, it still looks a bit too red for me. I want it to be a paler grey, a cooler grey. And I'm hoping that when it's dry, it'll settle down a little bit, and that the raw sienna that sits underneath it will neutralize it a bit. There's a big cloud mass, which is kind of the hero of the sky, and now I'm just painting some smaller clouds on the horizon. This is a good way to create perspective in your skies, is to have the big clouds at the top of the page, and then having a small, and I'm lifting out just a few whites on my sky, again where I felt like there was too much blending between the blue and the raw sienna happening. I also want to create a bit of a stronger contrast, so I'm dropping in a bit more of my blue in that top top right corner. Continuing with my grey, so now I'm mixing a cooler grey because I wasn't quite happy about the purple cast of that first attempt. And I'm just defining the bottoms of those clouds. I always glance at my reference photo when I do these things, but I'm also being guided by what's already on the page. And the cloud shapes, they sort of develop organically depending on where the brush hits the paper, so I got to now put the shadows where the clouds are, regardless of what my reference photo tells me to do. This is when I leave the sky be and move on to the beach, because I can continue with that while the sky is drying. So back to my raw sienna, and you can see I'm dragging the brush over the paper. I want to create a bit of texture. And now I'm just going to add some different hues into this beach. Added a bit more warmth to where the dunes are, and starting to drop in some blue for the far distance. There is a distant sand dune that I want to just hint at, really. just so that we have something that pulls us into the distance, and then building up the saturation and the value of the foreground. That foreground is pretty wet now, so I can just drop in anything I like and it will soften out and blend in. So as before, I'm just going to build up a bit of tone, a bit of texture, trying to create, and I want to strengthen some of those blue tones in the distance. And I'm going to use that same color to hint at some of the shadows and some of the greenery of those main dunes, even though I'm going to give them my full attention in the next layer once the beach is dry. I'm also going to splatter some clean water to increase my texture there, and a bit of green. And then I realize I splattered all over my sky, so I got to remove those water droplets. I missed one of those water droplets and it's created a pretty ugly bloom, so let's get rid of that. You can see here the water has pushed the pigment out and created a ring around it, so I'm going to re-wet the area. It was completely dry, but with some clear water, loosening up the pigment, let that sit for a minute, and then come in with a dry, soft bristle brush, like a hake or hake brush, and then I'm just gently brushing in different directions to move the pigment around and hopefully even it out. And that'll take a minute or so. And that's a pretty good job. I could leave it there, but I can still see a hint of it. And I'll let that dry again and then re-wet it for a second time to then cover it up with a bit more blue. I did think that this top corner could do with a tiny bit more value in the blue sky, just to create a bit of a stronger contrast between the sky and the clouds. So 2 jobs in one. That water spot is gone, so that's how easy it is to fix a bloom, even on cold press paper where it's a little bit harder. Time to put in the ocean, and I'm using a greyish blue for this. The ocean, or no, the water reflects usually the sky, so not too dissimilar from the clouds. And I want to create the impression of quite a rough sea. I imagine there's a lot of wind. Well, I don't have to imagine it. I knew there was a lot of wind. There's always windy in the Netherlands, for that matter. But I left a couple of white streaks there to hint at the waves. And then I just want to make sure that the horizon line is nice and straight, but also is a little bit darker. So I've just picked up a little bit more blue pigment to give that edge a bit more strength. And then there's usually a bit of shadow under the breaking waves, so just using that same darker blue. Now I'm going to speed up the next part where I paint the sand dunes, and while you watch me do this, let me quickly spruik my Patreon page. If you don't know what Patreon is, it's a subscriber-based website where creators and artists can post content and offer different subscription tiers. I've got a basic tier happening there, $5 a month. I upload usually 1 to 2 tutorials a month plus some extra stuff. The videos are longer. You're watching a shorter version here on YouTube for free. But in the Patreon version, I have commentary all the way through. I'll talk in more detail, share more tips and other interesting bits, I hope. I also make the reference photos available for you to download, and they are royalty free, so you can use those photos for your own purposes, however you like. Also, anything I post on YouTube, I will post on Patreon first, And if you are on a free YouTube account, then you won't ever see any ads when you watch the videos on Patreon. So lots of benefits there. You can try it out for 7 days, see all the videos I've posted so far. And if it's something that you like and you want to support me, then I would love to welcome you as a new subscriber. And then I'm going to scratch out some highlights in that foreground sand dune. It feels a bit too solid. It's always nice to scratch out some grasses that catch the light, and that makes all the difference sometimes. Just turning the paper so I don't have to bend my arm too much. And that looks just a little bit more believable. Now it's time to put in the seagulls. Always a bit nervous when I come to some important details right at the end. They could potentially undo all the good work that I've done so far. And I'm going to lay a foundation of a light grey. I'm not going to make that seagull white. That would be too hard to see against the clouds. So it's got to be darker than the clouds. So first I'm going to put a light grey down for the main seagull, and then 2 more. Again, rule of 3, always good to have 3 or 5 things, odd numbers. And then I realized that this main sand dune is just a little bit too flat. The seagull is dry, so I can now come in with a really dark color, almost black, but it's my ultramarine and burnt sienna mix. Have a careful look at the photo, and then I'm painting in the wingtips and leaving the body in that lighter color, which in our minds will turn to white in shadow. And I'm using a really fine brush here. It's always good to have 1 or 2 of those really small brushes, because you sometimes just have to add in a tiny detail like a beak of a seagull. And I'm painting a quite small size here for a number of reasons. You know, I like to paint small. It's not as overwhelming and daunting as big pieces of paper, and also means I can get through a painting a little bit faster. So I could stop right here, but I'm looking at this painting and I feel there is a bit of a empty space between the 2 seagulls. The sky is a little bit flat. I just want to add a tiny bit more contrast into those clouds. So I'm going to add another cloud in front of the main clouds that's just floating there, and that kind of visually connects the left and the right side of the painting. That will recede a bit once it's dry, as you can see in the finished painting. And I hope you enjoyed that, and you will give this one a go as well. Thanks for watching.